Actually, the last few reports the GAO has put out has actually been very consistent with what we've been saying.
Bureau of Statistics and Plans Director Tony Lamarena is referring to recent reports from the U.S. Government Accountability Office, or GAO. The GAO is the investigative arm of Congress and is in charge of the auditing and evaluating of government programs and activities. Recently, the GAO has made repeated visits to Guam to investigate the island's progress in its preparations for the military buildup. The GAO's most recent report, like the last few reports, reiterates the fact that Guam's leaders are relatively in the dark as to the specifics of the military buildup. In addition to this, the report has also pegged an estimated cost for the military buildup at $2.9 billion, an amount that is significantly less than Guam's $6.1 billion estimate.
I think a lot of that is insofar as highway funding. They feel that after reviewing the highway funding, Guam would reduce it by so many $1 billion. But insofar as the other areas, Guam still needs funding to improve other infrastructure other than the roadways. We need to improve our utilities. We need to improve our hospitals, healthcare facilities, educational facilities, social welfare facilities.
According to Lamarena, last year the governor submitted an estimate showing a need for $6.1 billion to help Guam beef up its infrastructure in time for the buildup. So why did the GAO not agree with this number?
Now, what the GAO report also states is that there are some inconsistencies on how we arrived at that number. And the reason being is because, again, we don't have concrete data from the military to really arrive at numbers that we can actually say this is what we actually need.
Lamarena says that the release of the Draft Environmental Impact Statement, or DEIS, should help GovGuam get some more specific data on the military's buildup plan. The DEIS is due out on the 20th. In the meantime, however, Guam has already made attempts at getting federal funding to aid in the buildup. For example, GovGuam submitted a budget request of $327 million for 2010. The federal government didn't grant that request, despite the fact that GovGuam submitted it to virtually anyone and everyone who could have had a role in providing funding.
We submitted to Congress, we submitted to the White House, we submitted to the White House via OMB, we submitted to the various agencies that we will need assistance from.
Lamarena says that the budget request for 2011 will be submitted during the first quarter of 2011 and will include the $327 million that wasn't given in 2010. While GovGuam is hopeful that they will be granted these requests, the GAO report notes that GovGuam could get funding by borrowing money on the bond market.
The reality is the way we've always believed is that the main portion of the expenses resulting from the military buildup should be paid for by the federal government. This is beyond normal growth. We're looking at 20%, 20 years growth in 4 or 5 years. And there is no jurisdiction in the nation that can handle that kind of growth in such a short period of time. Why should Guam bear the burden of this expense as a result of the military buildup?
Clint Mergel, PNC News.